that longing. It doesn't work one way. It works both ways. It works in the same way. Just as in the cattle, soon as it starts making sounds and moves towards the mother, her udder swells with milk. Swells, literally. The glands begin to produce the more milk. In the same way it does work here. The udder of heaven is always pregnant, full of this manna, full of that. If only we make this enough, let's say, obvious that we are here thirsty, and it pours down.
My question, actually, I asked last year in Mexico. Just still the same thing almost. I feel very strong energy in my head, and it's attract all my attention. Basically, I cannot meditate. It's like a. Sometimes it's like a crazy, like a washing machine. I feel like sometimes my skull will crack. So I don't know what to do, or just trust the process, or.
Yeah, but remember what we did, because you brought your question at the end of the immersion.
Yes.
So you're smart to bring it in.
Yes.
In the start. So there is an improvement.
Yes.
As far as am concerned, there is a great improvement.
Yeah. I feel like the.
Yeah. What did we do?
I didn't do any. Just.
No.
Almost.
When you brought this question, what did we do?
Oh, the other day I remember you touched my head, and I feel something.
No, I didn't just touch your head. Like I really put my hand on your head and kept it there. It's called spade a spade, right? I didn't just touch your head, wasn't it? I placed my hand on your head, and then what did you report to me?
I feel like sometimes I feel like something melting, like some channel is open.
I want you to just recall, because you reported that you felt good.
Yes.
That's what I want to squeeze out of you.
Yes,
some encouragement.
Yeah, like a
bit of an endorsement, for God's sake.
I feel like
give me a little bit,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
In other words, it worked.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you were even messaging. It was like, we were getting these messages that you are feeling fantastic and even got lost in this village or in that town, right?
Yes.
I have a good memory.
Exactly. Yes, I feel like I still remember sometimes you feel your nose is blocked and then suddenly open, kind of things. You feel like something melting.
Yes.
It's
exactly. That's what you referred to. You reflected back to me. That right after that experience, you felt your perception opened up, as if cleared.
Not
so,
something kind of.
I don't want to interrupt you. So do I have the license to touch, as you said?
Of course. Yeah. I don't know what is the magic.
But
no,
it's still not magic.
Still the
magic is in the license. See?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I don't know. Sometimes I doubt am I capable to receive the grace or
of course,
but sometimes I feel like
all right,
lots of blockages.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of pressure inside of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on still. It's been over 2 years.
Okay, so good you back here, right? Because I was actually, some of you may recall who were there, how I was feeling like I wish Julia, right?
Yes.
I wish Julia brought that earlier. because I would have done more work.
I remember that.
It was like on the last day, and that's all I could do. And also, I didn't know how well you will take that because you had to travel, right? So but now we have this time. So let me just first maybe clarify something for the sake of everyone, and then we will work on this, okay?
Okay.
So with regard to that pressure in the head, it's classic. Don't worry, you're not the only one. There's a lot of that, and a lot of people out there suffer with that because there is, let's say, some distribution of pranic activity in the body causes this, you see? When, let's say, some pathways not quite opened, so instead of having this balanced feeling of being grounded whilst open, you see, fully in the body and light, it's a wonderful feeling, you see? Like, and how is that? Because there's a pranic flow, it's all pranas, all these pranas, rising, ascending, descending pranas, pranas that metabolize, pranas that all-pervading, all this prana that governs all the creativity and speech, all this in action, all of them are interconnected. We can give a discourse on 5 pranas alone to refresh our memories. So whenever there is some kind of abstraction of pathways, of movement of prana, it causes a certain pressures, you see? If, for example, too much of that ascending prana at the expense of the descending of apana, then it would cause that cranial pressure. That a lot of people, a lot of kundalini symptomatology is associated with that. Among the yogis even, you read this or that autobiography, this and that account, people who they use their body as a tool. We are householders, we don't do that by large. We just leave this and that. These guys are using their body as a tool. You see? Complete and utter tool. Body is like a tool. They hold here, withhold there, contract here, can expand there, right? They make body to serve purpose. We don't have the time because it's a full-time job. We can't do that. We can't afford that. It's a completely different lifestyle. So we have to do what we can in a given situation. So this is not uncommon. You need to understand that. But there is a way to go about it, okay? So, of course, in the program, a lot will change now, okay? So in this coming now 10 days, this 9 days, right, as of tomorrow, a lot can be done. So that in that spin of that, what we do here, you will be able to work with that, okay? So I will assist in whatever way I can, given license is there, and license is the trick. You're saying, are you receptive? Like you're questioning, doubting, right? Or simply calling to question whether you are receptive to grace, right? So let's clarify that. This is what I want to clarify for all concerned. Grace is all there is. So this is first rule of thumb understanding. Grace, properly understood, it's not something that we can see, touch, but all grace is all there is. And we are always open to grace, always. It feels that maybe we are not, but this is because it's a temporal misperception of how things are, you see? Because somehow we conceived ourselves temporarily as these independent, autonomous individual beings, see? Fish swimming in the ocean thinks where to get wet again. That story is a very telling one. So and when it will finally meet another fish, and that other fish tells, you are in the ocean, dear, and it's pretty wet here, and has always been. Oh, and the worship begins of this, and that fish getting whole school of fish following it because it's now the fish that enlightened us all. So they all go together now, and that fish is enjoying the great popularity among the reefs. So, but if you want to understand this, the grace is all there is. Now, yes, there are this perspective that, there is, that it's like this example, I'm giving that, it's like an ocean, see? So grace doesn't have motion. Even some people, even funny enough, under the guise of tantric discourses, that grace descending kind of matter of speech is misperception, misconception. It's a kind of outlived, really, analogy. I disagree with that because this is actually misunderstanding in turn of the fact that everything here is governed by pranic currents. What is prana? In our journal, you can see the transcribed interview I had many years ago, which speaks about relationship between consciousness and matter, let's say, or consciousness and creation. And I think it's entitled Consciousness and Prana, no? Something like that. And we go there. I mean, I went there in as much detail as possible in an accessible language, that what prana is, in that, how that term is come from particular culture, but we can find that in every culture, chi, tsi, all is consciousness in its active state, consciousness in its mobile active state. That's all. So there will be no mobility, no movement of any kind. So consciousness takes form of prana. In the Kundalini course, we dealt with that from the perspective of the three expressions of Kundalini: para, chit, and prana. Para Kundalini, chit Kundalini, prana Kundalini. So everything is then administered by this aforementioned briefly 5 major pranic currents that take care of everything here. Even the breathing itself is not just some kind of, the breathing itself is governed by ascending and descending force of prana. Inhalation is governed by apana, and exhalation is governed by prana. Because when we inhale, the air goes down. See? When we exhale, air goes out, upward. Many people study yoga and they make this mistake. They think that, I breathe in prana. Well, if you want to think that way, yes, but actually it's the force itself is the opposite, it's in reverse. Grace in that sense also corresponds to the downward movement because it is governed by apana. And the rise of consciousness as awakened life force is governed by prana, which takes the form of udana, upward moving. It's a bit more intricate. I don't want to go there now. We can, as I said, give a brief discourse to 5 pranas. But I want you to understand, and this is of value to all of us, is that this grace descending movement is indeed governed by that what is then takes form, or rather is an expression of that what governs all the processes in the body, including the subtlest of them all, the subtlest. So this downward movement in itself can be seen at the grand scale as the emission of consciousness, as this grace descending quality of Shiva, let's say. See? Like in the Indian mythology, you know, even the Saras, you know, even the Ganges as a river, you know, it fell down of heaven. You know that story? Who knows that story? Beautiful myth, right? Right on the Himalayas there, you know, from heaven. It's like this, it's downward movement. So this is how consciousness really fecundating the valley. So that receptivity here, you see, is not somehow that you are close to it. It's just somehow at the mental level you feel that maybe you are closed. But if grace is to descend, nothing can stop it. See? People are experiencing this without having any inkling towards what we call spiritual matters.
I was like that.
You would like that?
Yeah.
It is like that.
Yeah,
It is like that.
I was like that. I was
Yes.
panic. I thought at the beginning I saw some tumor in my head. I was very panicked.
Panicked?
Yeah.
Oh, you said panicked, yeah. When it happened?
Yes, and start from something moving inside of my face, and gradually move into the middle, and then the back side of the head, inside of the head.
Out of the blue, right? There was,
yes,
there was
nothing.
prompted.
I didn't. Yeah, I have zero background.
Okay, so you see, now, very good. So now listen to this. So now it's important to bring something to a conscious level. See? So on one hand, we could speak of grace as being blind. Just as sunlight is blind. It doesn't distinguish, like sun shines for the entire, let's say, well, at least solar system, right? It shines in every corner. The nearest and the furthest away planet are all visible because sun shines. So it certainly bathes our planet with life-giving vibrations of light, right? Life here is possible because of that sunlight. Every plant here reaches, and the process of photosynthesis, what gives the possibility for
Or life, yeah.
Life, exactly, including life of vertebra. Because for the life of vertebra, there needs to be oxygen. Every vertebra breathes. And there were no vertebrae before there was enough oxygen in the atmosphere. So billions of years of plant life, a preparation. Beautiful how it all like really works here, orchestrated in that way. So plants are that. They vibrate this. First, they reach to the sunlight, open up, all these leaves open up. That what here is on the display will then be an inverted replica exemplified by our lungs. The trees, our lungs are the trees upside down. And this symbiotic connection, we need oxygen. And the plants supply that. Millions of years, millions and millions of years, it accumulated enough oxygen. So now vertebrates, the cows and the sheep and the horses,
and human,
and of course us humans, can breathe and even turn this into a fantastic meditative practice. So everything's so beautifully interconnected, isn't it? Yes. So, and now I forgot what we talked about. That, yes, thank you. So in a way, sun just shines for everyone, for the sinner, for the saint, in equal measure. It doesn't distinguish. It doesn't like, I'll shine more on this country, but this country is really, really wicked, less sunshine, or whatever. So we know, in the same way we could say grace is blind. Okay? So it's available to all at all times. Now, once we agreed and established that, we need to also allow the possibility for bringing conscious aspect to this. One can work towards grace. And I have deliberately brought this into the discourses not long ago so as to stop all this crowd-pleasing messaging, because it's very pleasing. Whenever we hear something, we don't own anything, we don't need to do anything. We just grace is all there is. It's like it shines for everyone. So why do I need to bother? It's like, no. Cultivate something. Be disciplined. Cultivate. Bring it. Make it into a conscious affair. So this, in a way, is like literally opening up. As the flower opens up, as it turns its face to absorb more light. It does that, as sunflower does, many other flowers. They turn towards the light to absorb more of that. We can do that.
Yes.
So this is not just a blind affair. Yes,
with the intention.
It's exactly, there is intentionality. We become a willing receptacles of grace. And grace would not make itself wait for too long, because there is a symbiotic relationship there. Longing, they say, is what makes the connection between this apparently separate individual connect one with the divine. That longing, it doesn't work one way. It works both ways. It works in the same way. Just as in the cattle, soon as it starts making sounds and moves towards the mother, her udder swells with milk. Swells, literally. The glands begin to produce the more milk. In the same way it does work here. The udder of heaven is always pregnant, full of this manna, full of that. If only we make this enough, let's say, obvious that we are here thirsty, and it pours down.
I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you.